Okay, so plums, these have been a mixed success for us, haven't they? Sometimes very good, but regrettably our plum trees are dying out. We think mainly due to bacterial canker, but let's forget about that for now. So Julie, you're pruning these plums?
Yes. We wait till the plums are growing actively before we prune them, because then the pruning cuts heal over more quickly and are supposed to be less likely to get disease in them. But as our trees are diseased anyway, it's perhaps a moot point.
These are now looking about the same size, these plums, as the plums we saw in the Dordogne Valley exactly 2 weeks ago, aren't they? But
yeah.
It's late April, although things are a couple of weeks ahead.
But this tree needs to be pruned. You can see, looking through it, it's very congested. There's lots of branches crossing over, running through the middle. These branches are hanging down too low. When you consider that the weight of fruit is going to pull these right down, they'll be almost touching the ground with all the fruit in the long grass because you can't cut it, and all the stuff under here isn't going to get any sun or light or air. So we need to thin out the centre of the tree and also reduce back branches. For example, these low ones, I'll take these back to a little shoot that's pointing more upright.
Do you want to just make a few examples of that?
Yeah, I mean that one, I'm doing these with the loppers, which isn't as precise as secateurs, but I can work more quickly as we've got so many to do, and I can reach right up into the tree. I usually have to climb into the middle here and work from underneath. I clear out a lot of the stuff from underneath because it's not getting any sunlight under here, and it makes the atmosphere very close, stagnant air under here. Put a bit of breeze coming through, let the air come in. I'm cutting off great bunches of fruit as well, but that doesn't matter because we're going to have to cut off an awful lot more fruit in the next few weeks because these trees have set so much they can't carry the amount of fruit that they've got on them without all the branches breaking.
We've had this done before where branches break before now, more than once.
Trees just sort of dismantle themselves with the weight of fruit, don't they? So we must give a lot of attention to that. I'm going to take that one right out.
It seems worse, doesn't it, to be pruning and actually cutting off plums that you can see, but in reality it's no different to doing the same to apples. It's just you can see them, but with the apples and the pears obviously we can prune at any time we like through the winter, but with plums there is this narrow window of opportunity when the pruning must be done, isn't there?
In the past I didn't prune the plums hard enough because I didn't want to cut off branches with fruit, and that's partly why they're so congested. Probably a bit more of this, and we'll get better quality fruit. We shouldn't get the brown rot.
Plums seem to be very susceptible to microbial diseases, don't they? Yeah. And we have lost a lot of plums.
Shorten that back so it doesn't hang down so low. See, this one here is hanging right down. Let's try that to that one. We'll take that bit out. There. Tangle up here. I'm going to take that little bunch out from the middle there. It's not going to do very good. That's still resting on there, so I'm going to take that bit up a bit higher. That's a bit better, a bit more lighter now on that. Take that one out so that that comes down to that forward facing branch towards you.
You're cutting to upward outward facing as much as you can. So overall these essentially we're trying to achieve a sort of half standard, fairly open sort of tree. This is a pheromone trap. There's a lot of male plum moths be caught in there. We need to spray against them. Otherwise there'll be maggots in every plum. It's heartbreaking how much disease and pests you get, and you can't deal with it by homeopathy or companion planting, you have to hit them. and even then it doesn't work always. How did our ancestors manage in the past? They had less food to eat, it wasn't so good. They weren't so healthy as us. They didn't live as long.
Right, now what about this one? I think that one needs to come out because it's
I agree.
really too dark under there.
I agree, it's yeah.
I'm going to be cutting that near the trunk, so we want a good clean that one there. It's not so bad cutting the twiggy bits with a lopper, because they're only small cuts, but I don't want that to be too rugged. See, this one's hanging down under here, let's get rid of that. So already I'm finding it easier, I can get in under here and move. Now for spraying that's going to be easier because I can get the spray right into the middle of the tree where it's needed. Not a lot of point spraying it if it's not going where it's wanted. The sun's getting in, the wind can blow in underneath and keep the air moving.
Yeah.
I'm also taking out any dead bits that I'm finding.
Obviously, yeah. As a rule we find it's better to do too little than too much, but it is also possible to do too little,
I've
isn't
been
it?
doing too little for too many years on these particular trees, which is why they've got a bit of a catch-up. I'm taking out a lot of material. It just requires a bolder stroke.
Yeah, well we'll have a look at these plums later and see how they go. Okay, well done Julia. I'll get back to my job. And here's a couple that have been done earlier. As you can see, these plums have been cut through and a more open sort of space, quite decent sized piles of prunings, which will be dried out for a few days and then taken off, piled up and burned. Those are the plums then. Not to be confused with the pears, which are a story for another day. We're looking at a pretty good crop this year.